Hey friends, this is Jordan with O&Co Games. Our very small team is working on what I hope will be your next favorite precision platformer. The game is called Tethergeist, and I've been making devlogs for it here on YouTube for well over 2 years. Devlog 0 was back in July of 2023. It's kind of mind-boggling to me to really try to take that in. So much has happened since then, and this freaking game still isn't finished. Don't worry, we're going to be done in Q1 of 2026. It's getting close. Anyway, 2 years of devlogs for the same game is wild, and it stands to reason that if I'm still making these videos, they must be exhibiting some sort of success, right? And the answer is, well, yes. It hasn't been a crazy explosion of success, but we've gotten to 17,000 subscribers at this point and over 13,000 wish lists for Tethergeist on Steam. Some of those wish lists came from events like Next Fest and PAX, but the majority of them are thanks to this devlog series. So something's working. Throughout our journey, we've talked to several indie marketers, and they commonly say that YouTube can be a tough nut to crack, yet we've managed to go from a no-name studio to one that's at least decently known. 17,000 subscribers, not crazy high, but respectable, you know? So in this video, I want to talk about everything I've learned over the past 2 years about what it takes to run a successful devlog series on YouTube. If you're a fellow dev, hopefully you'll be able to gain some valuable insights for yourself, whether you're running a devlog series currently or are considering starting one. Even if you're not a developer, I still think there's a lot of value in just understanding what our journey has been. I don't know if you guys feel the same way that I do, but I really like knowing some of the backstories of the games I play and what the developers went through to make it happen. So, one of the biggest things I've learned from this devlog series is about viewer quality. That is, people who watch devlogs are generally more attentive and more invested in the game we're working on. If you scroll through our channel, you'll see that we have a mix of video types. Yes, we've got the devlog series, but we also have some video essays, casual chat type videos, and even some shorts. Over the last couple of years, I've noticed an interesting trend. People who watch the devlog videos are generally just more engaged. They're more likely to comment, and they're more likely to wishlist Tethergeist compared to viewers of our shorts or video essays. Which I suppose makes sense. The devlog videos are all about Tethergeist, and the video essays are broader topics. Take this devlog on our contract with our funding partner, for example. It got about 50 wish lists at its peak, and with its trickle of views that have come in since, it's probably generated somewhere around 80 to 100 wish lists, or about 1 in every 100 views. Conversely, if you look at our video essay on why 2D games will never go away, there isn't really any noticeable wishlist bump associated with the date that video was released. The date is all kind of fuzzy without proper UTM tracking in place, but by my estimates, this video probably brought in about 1 wishlist for every 200 views. So roughly about half as effective as a devlog video is. Now, don't get me wrong, video essays are still really powerful. I will happily take a lower conversion rate if the video has a much bigger reach, like this one I made about pixel art. This video has probably brought in about 400 to 500 wishlists alone. But it's rare that we're able to get a video essay to pop off like this, and devlogs have proven to be a consistent driver of wishlists, even if their view counts are generally lower. And beyond just wishlists, it's just far more common for people to tell us they found out about Tethergeist through our devlog series than through any other channel. We even have reviews on our Steam demo saying that devlog brought them here. Come for the devlog, stay for the gameplay and story. So another thing that I've learned from this devlog series is just how powerful consistency really is. It's something that every successful content creator is constantly preaching. YouTube rewards consistency, and I would add to that a consistent level of quality. Posting regularly is the first challenge, but you also have to make sure that what you're posting is valuable stuff. Viewers respond well to quality content, and in turn, the YouTube algorithm takes note. Granted, your stuff doesn't have to be perfect. There's certainly a balance there. You just have to reach the right threshold of quality. And if you're able to get both quality and consistency down, you're set up for success. So coming back to consistency, for the first year-ish, I was posting a devlog every 2 weeks. And since then, I've tried to just not go too long without posting something to keep everyone updated. That type of consistency, especially when I was doing it every 2 weeks, has made a massive difference. We've seen consistent, steady growth ever since the devlog started. Here a little, there a little kind of stuff. stuff. Yes, every now and then we get a video that performs really well, but the aggregated impact of all of the smaller videos is truly the force to be reckoned with here. Sure, this video essay that got 40,000 views is great, but that's a pretty small amount compared to the 1.2 million views we've gotten across our whole channel, which is like 75% devlogs, I think. I didn't really do the math, but devlogs are definitely the largest category for us. What I'm really trying to say here is that consistency is powerful. Imagine we were trying to fill a pool with water. I'd much rather have a steady stream of water from a hose than depend on having to fill it with large buckets. Now, if we had a helicopter situation where we can get hundreds of gallons at a time, I might be singing a different tune, but that seems like it's more related to influencer outreach than cultivating our own dev-related videos. So if any of you guys stream video games and have a helicopter, hit me up. Anyway, this metaphor is really starting to derail itself, so I'm gonna move on. Another big thing I've learned about devlogs is what they can do to your development process, good and bad. And I'll start with the bad. This probably comes as no surprise, but running a devlog series takes time away from development. It's probably the most common concern I hear from fellow developers who want to start a devlog. Maybe they're interested in making devlogs, but they're worried it's going to take too much time away from developing their game. I wish I could say it wasn't as big of a deal as people make it out to be, but sadly it kind of is. Every minute I spend writing this script and editing this video is a minute I'm not spending on Tethergeist, so there's definitely a trade-off there. I personally had a lot of experience editing videos before I started this devlog series, and I've gotten pretty quick at putting these devlogs together, so I'm able to keep the time spent on them relatively low, but still, they take time. I'll also say candidly that they can sometimes be a bit of an emotional distraction as well. It's easy to get caught up in a negative comment or check in multiple times a day to see how many views a specific video is getting. I wish I could say I was perfect at posting a devlog and then just letting it go into the wild without stressing about it, but the truth is I tend to track performance more than I should, and I get bummed out with videos that don't gain traction. Ultimately, this point isn't a huge deal, but still, it's something I think is worth noting. It's easy to get sucked into a devlog's view count and worry too much about stuff that's ultimately out of my control. It ends up being emotionally taxing to do that, and I'm always better off when I just focus on making a good video, responding to a few comments, and then moving on. Which honestly kind of comes back to the point about consistency. Rather than getting hyper fixated on a video I've posted in the past, it's better to just start working on the next video. Anyway, now for the good impact devlogs have on the development process, and I think this is a pretty big one, they can be a really powerful tool for motivating you to work on your game. Having a public audience who's aware of what you're working on and excited to see its progress is, at least for me, a really great motivator to get stuff done. The development of Tethergeist was relatively slow moving before our first devlog. Having the greater public see our game and respond so positively to it has been a really encouraging force that has driven us to make Tethergeist the greatest game it can be. Anyway, that's at least at a high level some of the big things I've learned over the past 2 years of running a devlog series. It's common for people to ask if it's worth it, and while I think everyone's situation is different, it has definitely been worth it to us. For the past 2 years, it has far and away been our strongest marketing arm. We weren't even on the map when we started, and while we're still a pretty small fish in the vast ocean of indie games, we're at least a pretty strong swimmer. We've got a great little community on Discord, a healthy wishlist trajectory, tons of incredible partners helping us along the way, and a pretty killer game to back it all up. It's been a wild ride up until this point, and I'm just super excited to be getting close to finishing Tethergeist and finally getting it into your hands. If Tethergeist looks like your kind of game, I'd be honored to have you head over to Steam, check out the demo, and give us a wish list. We've poured thousands of hours into the development and design of this game to make it the best precision platformer it can be. So if you're into a good pixel platforming challenge, I think you're going to love what we've made. And if you want to stay in the loop on our progress, be sure to subscribe here on YouTube. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.